And this was me when I was 10 years old. And I flew from California to Minnesota by myself. My grandparents had picked me up in a caravan and taken me to Disneyland. And then I flew home back to my mom by myself. And I was all alone. And they pinned this little badge to my chest here, to my shirt, saying that I was traveling alone. And I had this man that sat next to me, and I'll never forget, because he had really bad breath. And he would not stop asking me questions. And we didn't have really like stranger danger, so I didn't know, I just kept answering his questions. But he kept saying why, and how, and where, and when. And he sparked a little bit of curiosity in me of what was gonna happen, where was I going, what would I choose as a career when I was older, a lot of things. And so what's the problem? What happens? We are born curious. Does anyone have siblings here, little siblings? The parents, yes? The parents in the room, we know that little kids can ask why 100 times in one car ride, right? Exactly. So what happens to kill that curiosity? Well, school. Any school is adhering to what the Minister of Education says is the curriculum, and you must memorize and you must test. So it's more about our society and the structure of the school that tells us, give us the answer, not give me the question, right? I don't want you to necessarily ask better questions. I want you to give me better answers, right? So sometimes our society, the way it's structured, has a way of squashing curiosity. Screens. We're all addicted. We're all zombies, right? Whether we like it or not, we are addicted to our screens. And we fill every quiet moment doing something, looking at something. And I'm not talking at you, I'm talking with you, because I am the same, right? And we have these screens that prevent us from being curious. And we also have systems now. AI gives us the answer before we've even asked the question. Last night I was at book club, and we were discussing the book, and there was this line in the book from Yeats, and it says, "Love is like a lion's tooth." Does anyone know what that means? So we thought about it and we talked about it, and she goes, "Oh, let me ask ChatGPT." And I said, "No." And I snatched her phone and I put it down. I said, "Let's just talk about it. Let's just think about it. We don't need to know the answer. Let's figure out, what does love is the lion's tooth mean ourselves?" So this question, why, that is really annoying when a toddler is asking you, is the thing that we need to hang on to stay curious, I believe. So there's 3 things we can do. Obviously, asking why is the fundamental primary one. Did you know that, and I put these little numbers here because I wasn't going to remember them, that an average 4-year-old asks 300 questions a day. By the time you're an adult, that drops to just 20. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask why. Ask why, and then ask why again, and ask why again. And if someone tells you you're annoying or to stop asking questions, just say, "You know what? I'm curious." And I think that's a good thing. So keep asking why, and wander. And we've got wander and wonder. Wander. How many people walk down the street on their phone, put the phone away, and look up? My dad taught me something. He would take me out, and he would say, "Just look around you." And I'm old because we didn't have screens and phones. But he would say, "Just look around you. What do you see? What do you notice?" And it was the most magical experience of just noticing, just wandering, traveling, exploring. Has anyone taken a trip where there was no agenda? Where your mom or your dad didn't plan every monument you were going to see, every restaurant you were going to try? You had no agenda. You went to a new city, no agenda. You just wandered the streets. So travel, look up, notice things. 7 hours. This is the idea that we spend 7 hours a day on our screens. How many hours a day do you spend staring up at the sky? Probably not even an hour, right? Maybe 5 minutes? Maybe? Wandering. So sometimes doing nothing is an art. And in fact, there is a book called The Art of Doing Nothing, because it's really hard to do nothing. Think about the last time you did absolutely nothing. You were just still and quiet and staring out into the ether, into the space, right? And there's sort of a magic trick, if you will, and especially as you choose your career and you become whatever you become as for your job, is this idea of seeing around corners. So my boss asked me once, Maria, can you see around corners? And I thought, what are you talking about? No, of course I can't. I don't have some superpower. And he said, it comes very simply by asking a couple questions. If this, then that. And if that, then what? And if that, then what? Right? So you're starting to think, okay, if this happens, I'm in the car, I'm gonna turn right. I put on my pishka, right? I turn on my blinker. I'm gonna go to the right. My brain is already thinking, is there someone in the crosswalk? Is there a car parked there? And I can see around that corner before, because my brain is thinking about it. And it's the same thing with curiosity, okay? Here's a scary fact. Did you know that 85% of people would prefer to receive an electric shock than sit alone by themselves for 15 minutes doing nothing? 85% of people would rather be shocked physically by electricity than sit and do nothing. Scary, no? I think. I meditate, so I'd be okay alone. But ask yourself, would you be okay or would you take the shock? So wonder is a muscle. And really, like anything, I suspect you guys are all fit and working out almost every day, right? But it's a muscle, and I think, as Sonia said this as well, right? It's a muscle, and as she said, it atrophies if you don't use it. So you have to actively cultivate and build this muscle. So why does this matter, right? Why are we all here today? Things like this make us question and focus on, and I know this sounds maybe cliche, but the future of humanity. Because what do we have left if the machines take over everything? Well, we have compassion, right? That makes us uniquely human. So just yesterday, I went to Lisbon to get to the US Embassy to get the kids' passports, and we parked under the zoo, and I opened the door into a man sleeping. And it shocked all of us a little bit. I was with Joaquin and Isela and Jordan, and it shocked them. Because in Leiria, we're a little bit fortunate in the sense we don't have so many homeless people in everyday sight. And so as we walked to the embassy, the kids were asking me, do you think he's cold? Do you think he sleeps here all day? Do you think he has food? Do you think he has a job? Do you think he has mental health issues? Do you think he needs money? What do you think he's gonna spend? And so they were just asking these questions. But it reminded me that compassion is just caring and curiosity about a person's experience. Creativity. How many people have a creative habit that uses their hands and no screens? Raise your hands. Okay. So creativity is about what could be, right? Music, I'm not a musician and you don't want to hear me sing for sure. But art, ceramics, building something, woodworking, all of that creativity is like, what? It's that curiosity of what happens if I do that? What could this become, right? And connection, curiosity that turns into care. Why am I on this stage today? Well, I know Francisco, who knows Luis, who connected me with TEDxLeiria, who asked me to be a mentor, who then asked me to speak. That connection is something so cool about us and humans that we should really hold on to that. So, things you can do to build curiosity. Be inquisitive. Ask why. Ask why, ask if this, then that. And keep asking. Don't be afraid to ask. And if someone, again, tells you, you're annoying, stop asking questions, just keep going. Be adventurous. with people you trust, obviously, and when your parents feel you're ready to travel by yourself, you explore and you go with no map and no GPS in your pocket and no plans, and you go explore and you just find what's out there, right? Be still. Try to create stillness. And don't take the shock option. Take the be still option. Meditate. These girls look like they're meditating there. But stare at the sky, stare out the window, and just do nothing and be still. See what your mind comes up with. And be creative. That, for me, is like taking vitamins. Every day, do something creative, especially this idea of like analog life. We live so much in a digital life. Make sure you have like a balance between your digital and your analog, right? So go analog and be creative. This is me. When I came back from Disneyland, I had my Minnie Mouse ears, and I really feel like this idea of rediscovering the world and being curious, is the way it will be, but you have to ask why. You have to cultivate that curiosity and keep asking why. And that's it. Thank you.